up, everybody? Welcome to Films in Black and White. My name is Doug.
And
Yeah.
I'm Marcus. And I'm black. And he's white. Like Axel Foley and Detective Billy Rosewood from Beverly Hills Cop.
I am really excited about that comparison.
That's a pretty good. That's solid.
Judge Reinhold, I'm not upset about that at all.
Not bad. You know, he hasn't done anything shitty, so it's pretty good.
I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, who are we gonna? I was trying to come up with my own. Like, oh man, what would it be? And I had to look. I couldn't think of the actor that's in the movie Blazing Saddles, who plays the sheriff in that.
Yeah,
that would have also been good.
Yeah.
Because I think anytime you get compared to, I was just worried I was going to get compared to Mel Gibson again.
I actually wrote down Lethal Weapon, and I thought and second guessed, and I said, not today.
No, not going to do that.
Soon, but not today.
All right. Yeah, that would have been bad. I'm not an anti-Semite, so I'm not necessarily interested in that.
And it's a bad person it's a bad time when you're compared to one. So that's a whole thing. Yeah, that's definitely a whole thing.
Yeah, that's rough. Well, Marcus, we are still in, are we in the times of the Rona? I don't really know anymore. It's kind of one of those things of we kind of are, we're kind of not. I mean, I think we are, but I think the rest of the country is not caught up to this. So how are you holding up? What are you getting into? What are you watching? What are you reading? Just where are we at with you in your life as the moment?
I have a trip coming up, so I'm scared as shit.
Okay.
Just, have to actually get on a plane. So that is scaring the fuck out of me.
Rightfully so.
I am long sleeve everything, covering every piece of skin I can. Like, I'm not playing any games. I'm going to hop on
one walking through like an airport dressed in one of those like sweatsuits that you to wrestlers wear to lose weight.
Even when it's going to be 190 degrees outside, and I'm still going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. Like, don't ask me if I'm okay. I'm telling you now, I'm okay because I'm scared of shit. So we got that trip coming up. It's a little whatever. It's making me a little anxious, but
sure.
Other than that, I'm watching states open and then 3 days later close.
Yep.
And they're like, "Hey, too soon," and we were like, "Could have told you that."
Yeah, we all thought the same thing, guy.
Yeah, we were looking at you saying that's a bad decision, and you were like, "No, we'll be okay." But the bars, though, and we were like, "No." So I'm okay. Things are really picking up speed. Like more meetings now are happening, and we got like a month now till school really starts or that process. So
it's July 1. It's all downhill from here.
It's oof.
I just hope it's not downhill in the same sense. Like, you ever seen that video? They do that like. You roll the cheese down the hill and everybody chases after it, and you got idiots like just tripping over and just biffing it on the hill. I have a feeling we're on that hill and we just haven't figured it out yet. So
yeah. It's something as far as reading, and I haven't read much this week. I've read through a couple digital comics, but they were like pretty basic, like the Deceased digital comic. I read through that again. Watching, haven't really watched much.
That's fair.
Since Artemis Fowl was the last thing that I watched. And
oh man, you almost just need to turn something on just to recover from that.
It's like watching a scary movie, and then you gotta you want to watch a little cartoon just kind of before you go to bed.
Yeah, so that way you're not thinking like, what was that? Like,
and all I see is that little boy from Artemis Fowl in the corner of my room, and I'm scared as shit.
It's better than Mo Diggum showing up to your house.
True.
We don't need him showing up.
Or Colin Farrell with a terrible Irish accent in my room talking about good night. And like, all right,
yeah, that'd be bad.
But what about you, Doug?
Yeah, like you said, we're definitely on the slope, running down as fast as we can to the bottom of the hill, which is the start of the school year. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
For sure.
As far as, we're getting ready to drive to see my in-laws this weekend here, so I'm going to be the only one wearing gardening gloves at the gas stations along the way because not messing with that.
That's fun.
Other than that, like reading, like you, I haven't read a whole lot. I have watched some things though. So first, and I was high on this last week, but Watchmen. We finished Watchmen, and
all of it.
Like,
oh damn, that did not take long.
And here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
You can take this to the bank.
Spoiler?
It's Brittany Wagner approved. Now that's a big deal. That's a big deal, and that's a big deal because Brittany has a hard time getting into movies that have too much of like a supernatural or sci-fi element to her, which some people are like that way. It's not a big deal. Like, But the fact that at the end of it, she said, "I'm disappointed this series is over," and she's been making like Watchmen references. Like she made one the other day. Like, so we have this weird like old satellite dish structure on the roof of our house. And she goes, we were driving away. She's like, well, when we get a quote to repair the roof, we're going to have to make sure they take down our Dr. Manhattan satellite. And I was like, I was like genuinely excited. I was like, look at you.
That's pretty fire.
Anyway, so if my wife likes it, anybody will like it. So
Brittany Wagner, we should add that to like our segment, our movies. Like, is it Brittany Wagner approved?
The Brittany Wagner stamp of approval.
The stamp of approval.
Because you want to know something? That's a big deal stamp to get. That's a very big deal stamp to get. So
shouts out to the Watchmen for just like knocking it out of the park.
HBO does it right. The other thing that I watched on HBO Max. So they've started to add some of their like Warner Brothers animation, so some of like the Batman stuff. Okay. And I started, and I haven't finished it, but I love it. I am 3/4 of the way through The Killing Joke. Like they did an animated movie of that. That was really good.
Very good. Especially, have you watched it before? Or this is your first time?
I have read that graphic novel before. So I'm aware of everything that happens, and as it plays out like animation wise, I'm like, okay, this looks familiar. Yeah. So yes.
How parallel are the two?
Pretty close, actually.
Okay.
Pretty close, actually, to be honest with you. And I love getting Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill back together. Absolutely. There is something about that just triggers the nostalgia in my brain and just gets me like, I remember waking up early, like a young kid in like 1996, turning on the local Fox station and watching like Batman. Yep. Watching the Batman animated series or the Batman Superman adventures. I remember watching it growing up. So that's my bread and butter, man.
The end of that movie is my favorite.
Yep.
It's my favorite. So good movie to watch. DC's always been top notch.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Marvel that they never really got it like that.
Right.
But DC's animation is amazing. Like even the universe that they just connected and finished, this whole with the Dark Side ending. I mean, it was just phenomenal. And you wonder, like, man, why can't that translate over to your other forms and streams of content? Like, I don't know what it is. DC does a phenomenal job when it comes to animation.
And I would say the thing that I really like about DC's like animation is that like it's very clear that Marvel's animation is geared toward kids. Marvel, like DC's animation, I can pick that up as an adult and be like, I don't feel like I'm watching something childish.
Absolutely.
Which I think is something super, super, super cool that I'm on board for. So
absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I've been watching and getting into. So
sounds fire.
But other than that, just trying to, make it. So not get sick.
Making it is important.
Yeah, absolutely. So Marcus, this is a news episode, so we've got to run down some movie news. But before that, we've got to do Catch That Quotable. So last week we had Brian on the show, and Brian was and we were so excited that we've had him here. We've had a great response to the podcast. So we've had like 27 people over the course of the last week listen, which for any other podcast, they're like, you only got 27 people. But for you and me, we're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, damn right.
So here's what I need those 27 people to do really quickly before we get into Catch That Quotable. I need that 27 people. I need you to tell a friend and just listen to our podcast with a friend.
Yes.
Like just invite somebody else into the space to partnership with you because we have some really amazing stuff that we're going to do over the course of the next 4 weeks that we're excited to tell you. And we'll tell you at the end of the show what we got coming. But we really, really need you to invite us to your friends. Don't be ashamed of us. Don't hide us in a closet or in that weird suitcase that sits up in your attic. Just bring them in. Bring them in.
Don't treat us like a stepchild. Okay.
Right.
We are blood.
We are not Arnold Schwarzenegger's children that he had with his maid. Okay. We are something that you want to talk about in public.
Wow.
Yeah. I
forgot that happened, but you're right.
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not forget that happened.
Don't treat us like Joe Jackson treat Tito. Okay?
Right.
Treat us like Joe treat Michael.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we're special.
We do have a lot of special stuff coming up, though. So, in all seriousness, and like when you listen to this episode, it comes out Friday. If you listen to this episode, however many streams was on the previous episode, so shouts out to Doug first, right? Then shout out to my mom because she matched. So they had already made donations to.
Yep.
What was the organization?
Black Lunch Table.
Yep, Black. I was trying to give him a drum roll. I remember the name. I was trying to give him a drum roll. But Black Lunch Table.
To be fair, I forgot the name. I was like, oh shit, who did I donate to?
We didn't go over this in pre-pro, so I kind of put him on the spot. So Doug already made a donation. He made a $25 donation because he made a promise that if we got this podcast to 25 plays before a certain period, he'd make a donation. So with that, Doug was good on his promise, made a $25 donation.
Sure did.
My mom matched the donation, so now that is $50 to the same organization. And I plan on matching whatever the amount of listens is that is there by Friday at noon. I will make a donation to that. So if we get 30 plays, I will pay $30. If it's 40 plays, I'll pay $40, whatever that is. So shout out to, what is the name of the organization again, Doug?
Black Lunch Table. And let me tell you what they're about too. So Black Lunch Table, they're a great organization. So they facilitate conversations they're based out of New York City. I believe it's Brooklyn, but they're based out of there, and they facilitate conversations for Black artists to have conversations and create like basically pieces to have discussions, whether that's in person or whether that's digitally, to help game plan how they're going to address issues that face their community. So it supports local artists, that like supports Black art there, which is fantastic. We need more of that in the world. And two, it really facilitates conversations that are centered around like creating solutions and coming up with ways to just get more of that voice out there, which is something we desperately need. And to be honest with you, with way the Rona is kind of coming, news from across the world is saying that artists in that community are struggling just because, Broadway's not going to come back till 2021. So there are people who are going to be looking for these type of donations for them to continue their artwork. And we don't want it to die off during the times of the Rona at all. So
I think it's pretty amazing. Doug put me on game, introduced me to the organization, read it. He told me that he felt the organization matched our values and our morals of what this podcast is about and what our relationship and friendship is about as well. And so I read through it. Couldn't agree more. They followed us on the Instagram, mentioning that you should follow us on our Instagram at Films in Black and White. Okay. And then follow them on Instagram as well. They reposted us on their story. So we're going to do what we can. We're going to do our part, not just to get plays. Look, you get entertained. Right. They get a donation. It's a win-win. We already like
benefits everybody.
It's a win-win-win. It's a three-win-win.
Yeah. Completely agree. So keep listening, tell your friends, invite them into our space. But let's get into Catch That Quotable. Brian went first last time because he was our guest. But Marcus, I want you to go first with your quote this week.
Oh, okay. He's trying to see. This is what happened when somebody try to check you the ball. They be like, "Nah, check," and then they got some fire like waiting on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody just let you go first. Like, okay. I see what's going on.
I'm just confident I'm not going to get it right, and I just want to get it out of the way.
It's fairly simple.
He's going to get me for like, hey, I got this quote from Bambi, and I'm going to be like, fuck.
I did Disney once, and he didn't get it. Now he's holding it against himself. Okay.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're not wrong.
All right, here we go.
Here comes.
As long as you're talking, you're not listening.
Oh, Jesus.
One more time for the people in the back.
God.
As long as you're talking, you're not listening.
So I feel like it's got a movie with a message. And because it's a movie with a message, there's a movie that jumps out to me, and there's no way I'm going to get this because they could say this in literally any movie that's come out in the past 10 years. So, for some reason, The Indian in the Cupboard comes to mind, but I know that that's not it, and I don't know why. All right, here's my guess.
Yes.
I'm going to guess Selma, but that's because it sounds like something that they would have had a conversation in the church as they were planning, but I also am not confident in that answer.
Okay, good answer, but no.
Okay, good, awesome.
That is wrong. The quote As long as you're talking, I like how deep his answer was too. Like Selma, it was in the church, but no, that's not it. Okay. As long as you're talking, you're not listening. Rocky Balboa from the movie Creed.
God damn it.
Yeah. It's by the way, if you don't know, Creed is my favorite movie. Creed 1 and 2. Creed is my favorite all-time
I didn't
favorite
see 2.
movie.
I saw 1, but I didn't see 2.
I have both on DVD. It's okay. I can let you borrow it sometime.
All right.
Listen, Creed 1. This happens in Creed 1. What happens is Donnie, who is Adonis, who is also Apollo's son, is boxing. Okay.
Yeah.
He's boxing this guy, and he's sparring. But he's sparring with somebody who's his partner, like his training partner for this fight that's coming up. And he keeps going at this guy, like tensions are high. And Rocky has to tell him, he's like, no, man, da 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 da. Rocky's trying to calm him down. He said, hey, listen, as long as you're talking, you're not listening. And I thought that this quote was so perfect in the times that we're in, where a lot of people got a lot of shit to say, and a lot of people just be putting out like shit. But as long as you're talking, you're not listening.
Yeah.
You think you know everything. You don't know shit. I don't know shit. There's so much room to grow always.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's so many people who are, one, great quote, and I love Creed 1. I was a little skeptical of it at first because I was like, especially with the way how Rocky 5 and like how Rocky 5 went down, I'm like, this is going to be bad. But it was really good. Like, it was really good, and I really, really liked it, and I thought the way that they tied in the history before, like where Rocky had been and kind of brought it in. And I thought that was really cool. But I think you're exactly right. I think there are a lot of people these days, and I'm going to go ahead and call out my fellow white people of, you can be uncomfortable and just listen. Like you don't just have to talk to fill that blank space in order to make yourself feel comfortable that you're saying something. It's okay to come into a discussion and not have anything to say, because the fact that you're coming to that table is what's the most important piece to it. So
let's talk about that in any situation.
Right. Yeah.
That situation is good. Right.
Yeah.
But in any situation, if you don't know, it's okay. My dad has always told me it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say that I just don't know. I don't know the answer. Yeah. I don't have the answer. Or let me get back to you. Let me do some research and get back to you. Like, you don't have to know everything instantly. And anybody who downs you for not knowing and wants you to just spew bullshit for not knowing is it there. I don't know. I'm gonna say stupid. That's just as stupid.
I would absolutely agree. So I would rather have someone be like honest and vulnerable that they don't know something than make shit up. And I tell new staff members at the front desk about this all the time. The worst answer you can give to a customer is to make something up. Yes. Don't make it up. Tell them you don't know, but that you'll find out. Yes. And if that means that you say, like, you set down a phone and you come ask me or you come and ask somebody else, that's totally fine, because it shows that you care enough to give them the right answer the first time. So, that's super, super important. Good quote. Good quote. You. I'm upset that I didn't get it, but also with the way this game goes,
our record is shit.
Oh, we're like 1-1, but if this were baseball, it was like we each have a hit, but it's for 10 attempts. We're 1 for 10, which is not.
And guess what? We're gonna cheer hard for that one.
Yeah.
When I do get it, I'm gonna act like I've been doing this shit the whole time.
Yeah. All right, you ready for me?
Ready.
Okay. Here we go. I'm very sorry for your loss. Your mother was a terribly attractive woman.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm sorry for your loss. Your mother was a terribly attractive woman.
Here's my thought process.
Okay.
First thing that came to mind, Will Ferrell.
All right.
Second thing that came to mind, Steve Carell.
Okay.
You used Anchorman before as a quote, correct?
You guessed Anchorman before, but I don't believe I've ever used it as a quote.
Okay. I want to say Anchorman.
Okay.
But it feels like a Will Ferrell type of movie.
Okay.
It feels something like in that comedic range.
Yeah.
Because that's something ignorant to say that nobody would say.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's an excellent guess. And I appreciate that it was rooted in fact and reason, but it's incorrect.
Damn.
That is from the movie The Royal Tenenbaums.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, so The Royal Tenenbaums. So this is one of my favorite directors of all time. So Wes Anderson is one of my favorite directors of all time.
Oh.
He did this movie called The Royal Tenenbaums, and it's about this family that's relatively dysfunctional. but Gene Hackman plays the father Royal, who's trying to. So the long story short synopsis is that Gene Hackman and Angelica Houston in the movie are married, but they're getting separated. So Gene Hackman invents the fact that he has cancer to try to get closer with Angelica Houston. But it's playing out all of the family drama and issues surrounding it. Definitely worth a watch. One of my favorite movies of all time and one of my favorite directors of all time. So it was kind of a super, very obscure quote. So I feel like that almost one shouldn't count towards our record, but it will.
It kind of threw me. It threw me out of pocket. But sometimes you got to have those. Like yeah. You got to have those that'll just throw you no context or nothing like that.
No context. Just go in. Yeah.
Okay. So, cool.
Good
quote.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if we can continue the failure next week.
Our losing streak continues, everyone.
We're unbroken and not getting them right.
Yeah, that we suck. But
you know what's going to happen is that somebody's going to go to some like trivia competition at like a wing joint in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And the question's going to be like, we're going to read you the following quote. And you have to tell us what movie it's from.
Yeah.
It's going to be, when you're talking, you're not listening. And someone's going to be like, oh, shit. Like they're going to be like, we know it. And it's going to become films in black and white.
And then when you get it, half of that point, you dedicate it to films in black and white.
That's right. You just say, just raise them up. Films in black and white. Thanks. Appreciate it.
That's it.
Yeah. So,
and share the link.
Right. And if you make money from it, remember your friends at Films in Black and White.
You give us half.
Yeah, the points, the money, it's all half.
Halfsies.
Cool. Well, let's dive into our news for this week. Because I think I have at least 5 different pieces that are worth kind of talking about, and I know that you have a lot. Yeah. But there's one really big piece of news that you and I were both aware of that I want us to get into right away because it is a reoccurring theme on our podcast. So, Marcus, take us away with our first piece of news.
So, y'all know the motto. Earlier this week, there was a video that came out. It didn't just come out. It was retweeted by Ray Fisher, who is who played Cyborg in Justice League.
Yep.
And Ray Fisher sporadically posted this video on Twitter. Okay, follow me on this ride. He sporadically posted this video on picture and says, I take this back. Basically, it was phrased to be like, I take this all back now. Okay. And it's a video of him saying, no, he's at Comic-Con.
Yep.
They asked him, how do you feel about Josh Whedon taking over? He was like, no, Josh Whedon is that guy. You know, they picked a great guy to come in here and clean up while Zach is away. And he stops, everybody claps. And he looks over at Jason Momoa.
And Jason Momoa's doing this.
And Jason Momoa's like, don't make eye contact with me. And he does this thing that's more like, oh God. Like he can taste the vomit in his mouth. Like he just had to bullshit something. He just had to lie. Anyway, he retracts the statement on Twitter publicly. So that goes it pops off pretty quickly. So today, more news comes out. And it is said that Ray Fisher says Josh Whedon was abusive on set.
Yeah, borderline, like he created just a hostile work environment for these folks. He
said he was gross, unprofessional, completely unacceptable, and abusive towards the cast and crew when he worked on Justice League. So then he goes on to tweet. Ray Fisher tweets. He tweets today. Josh Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. In addition, he was enabled in many ways by Geoff Johns?
Jeff Johns?
I think it's Jeff. Oh, is it Jeff? I
think it's Jeff Johns.
Yeah, but he was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg, and it puts accountability entertainment. Okay?
Jesus.
This is years after Justice League has been released in theaters. You got to follow me here because there was a lot of news that came out back to back. This was years after Justice League had released in the theaters. He's spoken out who stepped in the project to, Whedon stepped in to replace Zack Snyder after the filmmaker left to deal with like family issues with his daughters, the tragedy of his family and his daughter. Whedon's version of the finished project was wildly like, it was killed. Like people
roasted. Hated it.
It was disgusting. Okay. Yeah. One of my beefs with him, which is why it's fuck Josh Whedon, but for other reasons as well, which I'll get into that a little bit after this. Yeah. And now Fisher has opened up. So it's being reported that Variety reached out to Whedon for a response and for the claims made by Fisher, and Josh Whedon said no comment.
Yeah.
He states so it continues. So Josh Whedon goes, they said, so this is what got me. Okay.
Yep.
The comment represents the first official response from Fisher's comments, as Whedon previously declined to comment.
Yep.
Johns has not yet said anything about the allegations, but tends to absent himself from controversies when he can and seems unlikely to address it now. But Berg told Variety this afternoon that it was categorically untrue that we were enabled any unprofessional behavior. Let me put a pause right there. I do not think that an enabler can say when they're enabling. Okay. Also, I disagree with the fact that a humble person can say that they are humble. When you say no, I'm a humble person, then it's like a thing. Okay.
There's that. You remember that Lonely Island movie that came out?
The
Pop Star?
Yes.
They have a song that's "I'm So Humble," and the whole song is him just bragging about himself, which I think is just the funniest thing on there whatsoever.
I don't think people really hear themselves when they say, "Oh no, I'm really humble." What's one of your character traits? And you say, "I'm really humble." That's interesting.
Yeah, I also have a hard time with people who say like, "Oh man, I have a really great work ethic."
Yes, I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say you're a hard worker. You can say you're a hard worker,
right? Yeah,
but your work ethic, I think, is determined by the outside source. So put that there. I don't think that a sexual abuser can say when or when they aren't sexually abusing. I do not think an enabler can say when or when they aren't enabling. You get what I'm saying?
It tracks. I'm with you.
Okay, cool. So he said that Berg said it was categorically untrue that we enable any unprofessional behavior, adding that I remember Fisher being upset that we wanted him to say booyah, which is a well-known saying of Cyborg in the animated series. When filmmaker Zack Snyder left Justice League following the death of his daughter, Whedon was presented as a close friend of Snyder who had been called in director personally to put some minor finding touches. All along, rumors dodged a film that Whedon had been asked to save, a film that executive had no faith in. Yeah. Here's the thing that got me. I didn't know. Okay. When filmmaker Zack Snyder left Justice League following the death of his daughter, Whedon. Okay, wait, hold on. When the movie came out, it was pretty clear to most viewers which portions had been shot by Snyder and which ones were shot by Whedon. Okay. Yep. But it's also said that the executive had no faith in it and that he was making radical changes. It was later reported and claimed that Whedon had been brought in to do rewrites and adjustments on set even before Snyder left.
Oh, shit.
Right. So it raises a lot of questions here.
So this movie was a movie directed by, essentially, from the way it sounds, two different people, but the ratio, because we used to think it was like 50-50, right? Yes. Like we used to think that it was Snyder started it and then kind of passed the ball off to Whedon, and Whedon took it to the hole, and took it to the basket, whatever.
These sports references.
Oh shit! I've played a sport game before.
I know.
But yeah, took it to the end zone. There it is.
Yes.
And it is not appearing that that's the case at all. It's like a Snyder 25, Whedon 75% split.
So that's what's funny to me is when Snyder said we've only seen a fourth of what his work was. I don't think it was a fourth because the death of his daughter.
No.
It was a fourth because they trusted the guy who made the Avengers, which was such a huge success, right?
Yep.
They trusted this guy to come in and do the same thing for DC.
Uh-huh.
To me, it says these executives never fully saw Zack's vision.
Yeah.
Okay, so years later, when we're asking for the Snyder Cut, I think these transitions happen in the house of WB and Warner Brothers. Is it Warner Brothers? I think it is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers. And then you get new executives who Snyder can show his full project and full vision to.
Yeah, for sure.
Say, oh, fuck, we fucked up. In addition to the backlash that fans are giving, in addition to Josh Whedon's nasty. So here's why I say fuck Josh Whedon.
Here we go. Strap in.
I say fuck Josh Whedon because this isn't the first time that I've read an art. And mind you, I don't know him personally. Okay?
No, we do not.
Once again, I don't give a fuck that I don't know him personally.
Right.
Whatever.
It's irrelevant to our beef.
It's irrelevant. Honestly, he could walk down the street and say, fuck you to me. As long as you don't call me out my name, I won't beat the dog shit out you. Okay? So here's the thing for me. Josh Whedon, he was supposed to direct Batgirl. I don't know if you remember that.
I do not, but it's
Josh
coming back to
Whedon
me.
Was set to direct Batgirl. There was some things that come out about the way that Josh Whedon writes his female characters.
See Black Widow.
Okay. Also, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep.
If you go and you look, there's some misogyny
in
these roles.
Uh-huh.
There are some stereotypes in these roles and some over-sexualized features and moments in these characters.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay? Once again, a problem with men trying to write women roles.
Right.
We need representation and why representation is important. You thought this shit was just about movies? Fuck no.
Nope.
Movies have a much broader feeling.
Art imitates life and life imitates art.
But you goddamn right.
Yep.
So for me, Josh Whedon has always been, when I read these articles and then he dropped out. These things came out about Whedon and then he all of a sudden dropped out from Batgirl.
Yeah.
So for me, it was fuck Josh Whedon from that point. And somebody else had to point out to me these things, because me as a man in my male privilege, I don't notice these things. I see Black Widow and I say, oh shit, like she looks really good. But why the fuck is that the first thing I think instead of, oh shit, this is a really good, strong female, well-written character?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for that, I will say, fuck Josh Whedon.
Oh yeah, on board.
Ray Fisher. I hope that what he's saying is true. I don't see a reason for him to lie.
I mean, what's the incentive there? I mean, I can't possibly imagine a world in which he has strong incentive to lie like that and strong incentive for him to fabricate something like this.
He's got a Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut is coming. So that's already in the bag. So we're going to see the work that he got to do. He didn't say that it was necessarily a race thing. So you can't, I don't think that it's a race baiting thing. Right. Why would this person say something? I think everybody else wants to play it safe.
Yeah, for sure.
Everybody else wants to play it safe because you don't know who you're going to piss off when you say these things.
For sure.
But I feel like Ray doesn't comment a lot. So when he does,
it almost, and the other thing that I appreciated about his comment is that it was vague enough. You know what I mean? Like if somebody had come at me, if somebody makes a comment about me and it's super, super, super specific, and it's like, you know, Doug doesn't wash his hands and then gives everybody a high five. Like that's one very, very specific that only me and only someone else knows that it's made up. Yeah. He was so vague with it that it was like, dude, this sucked. Like it was abusive. We didn't like working there. It's vague enough where it's like, I don't want to get into the details of how it was abusive or how it sucked to work there. But let me just tell you it sucked to work there. And then I'm going to put it on Josh to try and deny that or explain it and have other people enlighten it. So yeah, I hope he's not making it up. But again, like you said, I would find it extraordinarily hard to believe that he was. So.
And if he is, then it's fuck Ray Fisher too. But
exactly.
I want to stand with you. Like, the thing is, of course, it's innocent until proven guilty, right? But also, you can be protected by a veil of protection. You know what I'm saying? Like, people in your same circle can enable you without knowing they're enabling you. There can be, like, all types of subtleties that happen in these situations where, no, I didn't enable them. But for him, who is a black actor, as a young actor, as a newer actor, is on these sets, he may have felt like this felt abusive. And you tell him, no, we weren't fucking abusive. So you're going to demean his experience. And instead of reaching out to him to see what did I do wrong, you basically say, no, he was mad because we tried to make him say booyah. No, fuck you. Talk to me and find out what's wrong.
Right. And the other thing is that it also kind of highlights the point of like, for someone to get upset about something like how a line is written, like actors will get upset about a line that's written, but only actors that I feel like the only time you ever hear about that is for actors who have been around the block a few times. Like you hear like a Tom Cruise being like, I'm not going to say that, let's rewrite it. Or you hear about that a lot in the 80s of like when Arnold Schwarzenegger was super big, you know, and he was on the side, like he was on Junior and he was like, well, I don't want to say XYZ. I want to say it this way. Can you work with me? Like, you don't hear about young actors being able to have an ounce of credibility to be able to say how a line should be written or how it's delivered. Like, most of them will read a script and sign on for all of it. They may try to negotiate, or they may try to say, how should I say booyah? Like, maybe I'll say it sarcastic, or maybe I'll say it a certain way, but they're not going to be like, they're not going to try and really flex their muscle on that type of line. They're going to just be excited to get the work.
What's the context for you being pissed off for saying booyah? Because if you're having me say booyah in this shitty Josh Whedon film, then fuck you. I don't like this was not originally. First of all, I'm reshooting everything that I've done. You've untangled all the time that I spent trying to shoot this original content, and now you're trying to make me do this and say this corny ass Avenger. You got Batman saying one-liners. You ruined fucking Ben Affleck's chance at a good Batman. You ruined Ray Fisher's chance at a good fucking Cyborg. You ruined Ezra Miller as a good fucking Flash, and then you also ruined Henry Cavill as fucking Superman. And you have him in these roles, and you say, "Well, my work here is done. Wipe your fucking hands clean. You still get paid, and all you get is a little backlash about shit." No, that's not fair. No, it's not fair.
Because there are people
talk to people.
Because remember, actors are judged not by the amount of effort that they brought. Obviously, I'm making assumptions. I've never worked in the industry, but
me neither.
Like, I would assume that a lot of actors are judged by the end product because that's still a business.
Yes.
And they are still interested in how much money a studio can make off of a particular picture. And if an actor is in a movie and it doesn't pull in a lot of money, or it's widely destroyed the way in which Justice League was, he's not going to get any extra work. So all Josh Whedon did was fuck up the final result and leave this guy, Ray Fisher, and others like Jason Momoa and others, and essentially say, yep, I made it so that the studio liked it. Not my problem. It didn't do well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if y'all are really friends and shit, if you and Zach are really friends, and we talked about this before, if Zach's form of expression is his movies, right? And how he wants to get over, that will forever be this Josh Whedon cut will forever be connected to this trauma, this experience, that moment in his life, and it has to be the things that he has to remember.
Yeah. No, this makes me more excited for the Snyder Cut, to be honest with you. I'm very excited for where that's coming and what's happening with that. So
sorry, I went on a rant there, but
no, that's hey man, we how we do. We give it to him straight, and it just is what it is. So cool. The big piece of news that I have that could kind of be a deeper discussion, but doesn't necessarily have to be, is that in light of some of the, in light of talking about the way that certain characters are portrayed and the way people, especially black people, are portrayed in arts, entertainment, etc. You're getting some names and some people on some prominent TV shows, both on Netflix and on Fox. They're now saying that they're not going to play their character anymore because black characters should be voiced by black actors. The first one that came out was Jenny Slate from Parks and Rec and from others. She plays Missy Foreman Greenwald on the TV show Big Mouth, which is one of my favorite shows. But she basically said to Nick Kroll and to others, and Nick Kroll and her tweeted this week, that they are no longer going to be voicing those characters because those characters should be voiced by black actors, and that it's wrong to try and whitewash a character like that. The other one is the voice of Cleveland from Family Guy. He said he's no longer going to be doing that character, and that he believes that should be voiced by a black actor. So I'm kind of curious to hear your take on what that particular piece of news is. I never, full disclosure, never thought that would be that big of a deal because it's animation, and I understand that there's a certain level of talent to be able to throw your voice a certain way, especially with the one with Big Mouth, because Missy is a kid, so it's a little bit different, and her character is mixed on the show, so it's also a little bit different there.
Okay.
But I'm excited because it shows that we are, at least some of us and some in the entertainment world, are trying to take their role and their responsibility seriously, of no, like, white people don't have to be the only ones that are employed, into a common theme that we talk about a lot, which is representation. There should be better representation, and at the very least there should be representation of, we should be hiring people to play roles from the same group that they're being cast in. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that particular news, and what are their thoughts on that particular decision?
This is the opinion of Marcus J. Destin. Does not reflect my place of work. Okay.
Sure.
Does not reflect. This is just Marcus. Okay.
Yeah. It's just Marcus.
For me, I see For me, I'm kind of split, right?
Okay.
Because things aren't so black and white, no pun intended, right? Because there are these gray areas of life.
Don't tell them that. That's their podcast.
that's the pull. But like things aren't so black and white.
Yep. Yeah.
Sometimes there are gray areas.
Yeah.
So I see the benefit of them stepping down, and I appreciate them allowing opportunities for Black talent to grow and representation to grow.
Yep, for sure.
I think that the guy from it gets a little sticky for me because these two shows are a little bit different, right? They're adult humor, right?
Yes.
And so there are moments and things that can happen. Is more so Family Guy because I don't watch Big Mouth as much, but and says things and has these experiences in the show. He has these experiences with cops, and there's these black jokes, and there's all these things. So then you imagine, oh, this is a white actor saying these things. Does it make you cringe? Are you fine with it? Would it be better if a black person was making these jokes on themselves? You know, it depends on your individual thing. For me, it is a little weird if you're having these moments where it's an interaction that's supposed to be it's a black appreciation episode. Let's say it's a black appreciation episode. Yeah. You got Donna Cleveland, and you have I forgot the new guy that owns the bar. Jerome. You have Jerome, you have all these people in there. Yeah. But you have to think about it. These are white actors. And if they're portraying these black stereotypes, is that okay? Right. And I think once again, that's a moral thing. Yeah. I appreciate just the representation. Now, there are certain things we didn't ask for. Right. And where the other part of my brain is saying there's so much bigger fish to fry. Right. Right. Painting streets Black Lives Matter looks good on the drone shots and the cameras. Yeah. But what about the reform? Right. Yeah. I'm glad that certain language is changing because that's important. That's one of those minute things that are important when you start changing the language to say that I'm Black and African American. You know, one of the dictionaries was like, this is how we will address things, and like this is the verbiage that we will now use because it's been offensive this whole time. All of that. My thing is, I want the big stuff now. The Aunt Jemima shit is cool. It's that's great. Should have been changed a while ago. But for me, I want the big shit. Yeah, it's like that meme. I saw a meme today that said it was sort of like it was that scene from. It was like that. It was an image of that scene from Pawn Stars. And the top, it says black people like, we want to be treated fairly and we want police to stop killing us. And then it cuts down to that image and it's like the United States. And it's the best we can do is take Aunt Jemima off your maple syrup. And it's just like that. You're right. It's a half measure. It's great. And I think for those actors that made the decision to step back said, this is deeply meaningful for them. So good. Kudos to you that you took a stand in a way you knew how. So you got to do what you can with what you have and where you are. So I think that that's a great first step. But I can entirely see your point and understand that, this seems a little like I didn't ask for that. And that was not what I was, that's not why we're on the, what is it? Like the 27th, 28th day of consistent protest. I think the 30th now. Yeah, we're the 30th day of consistent protest. They're not protesting because white people are playing black people on an animation show. Like, they're not mad about that. I mean, that's a little, and it's hard because it's a little part to a bigger problem. For sure. Right? Representation is still important. So don't get me wrong. The representation is important, right? And the allowing these spaces, and I believe that their hearts are in good places for sure, and that they want to genuinely do the right thing, and they feel like I don't feel right voicing this role. That's fine, and I appreciate them for that. But when it comes to the other things in addition, don't let that be the stopping point for your form of justice. Does that make sense? Like, don't let taking Aunt Jemima off a syrup bottle be, well, we did our part, look at us. Like, no, good job. Fuck you. Like, fuck you. How about like one of the companies I think is doing it right is fucking Ben and Jerry's. Yeah. Ben and Jerry ain't pulling no punches. They with the shits. They gonna make some social justice vanilla bean ice cream. Like, they are with the shit so much. So I just don't want this. I don't, like you said, I don't want this to be a half-ass attempt to say I did my part. Right. Like, what else are you doing? Yeah, like, for sure. Can be in the right place, but once again, the road to hell is paved in good intentions.
Good intentions. Yep, for sure. Completely agree. Yeah, completely agree. But again, yeah, I 100% agree with you, and I hope that this isn't. It would be great if this started a movement and there was a group of people, like even if within the Academy or even if it was in the Screen Actors Guild, said we'll never do this again. Like that's a little bit more of the reform of saying not only are we going to give up and we're going to stop doing this and we're going to take a step back, but we're going to work together, the 2 of us, 3 of us, 4 of us, 10 of us, whatever it is, to try and put some guiding principle for all of Hollywood and all of TV and movies to commit to say no more is this going to be the way it's done, and we're going to insist on representation consistently going forward. I think that's the more meaningful.
And I'm not an actor, so I can't tell to other actors this is a big thing for them, right?
Yeah,
and which is great. So, and if I'm wrong, don't just bash me on the shit that I'm wrong about.
Right.
Correct me in the comments.
Yeah.
DM me. Let me know. No, Marcus, this is kind of why this is important.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, I didn't see it from that perspective. Cool. Yeah. I have another perspective now, and and I can adjust my answers as I see fit. But like, if I'm wrong, I'm not an actor, so I will never know what it's like. Like that could be a big thing. Like, no, that's so fucking important because there's not enough of that. Then I would be like, bet.
Right. Yep. So. Completely agree. Yeah, and myself as well. Not just you, but myself as well. Maybe my optics on it are a little bit different too. So definitely correct.
But we are 2 average Joes. We don't know shit. We're not industry.
Right. We're
just here to give it to you like everybody else here.
Right. Yeah. We're people you would meet in a coffee place once. Be like, oh, they've got an interesting take, and then you never meet them again.
And then you never see them again.
But cool, awesome. Well, that was my first piece. So what else you got for us?
All right. So the rest of this shouldn't be too heavy. Those were 2 heavy topics back to back. But you gotta address bullshit. You gotta address the bullshit.
Yeah.
Your topic wasn't bullshit, but Josh Whedon, fuck you.
As always.
So breaking news today.
All right.
Don't know if you heard this or not.
I maybe have, maybe haven't.
But Christmas time is coming.
Was it canceled? I mean, they're canceling everything, but I mean,
true. Christmas time is coming.
Okay.
And with Christmas time, Doug, we see Christmas movies.
All right. It's July.
Christmas time is coming. And with that comes Christmas movies.
Okay.
And in this latest remake of a Christmas movie.
All right.
Let me ask this first.
Okay.
What is your favorite Christmas movie? Your favorite classic Christmas movie?
A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Good one. That's a great one.
Every single time.
That's a great one.
I don't know what it is about it that I like.
Yeah.
I think Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I love that Gonzo and Rizzo play essentially Charles Dickens the whole movie.
Yes.
My favorite scene is Gonzo's lighting the lamp and telling the story. And he starts to set Rizzo on fire, and he goes, "Not the light the lamp, not the rat, light the lamp, not the rat." Like that's my favorite scene of the whole thing. So, yep.
Okay, and mine is right. It depends.
Okay,
but I typically like Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer. But when she takes Santa to court, the cartoon version.
Okay.
But Frosty the Snowman is getting a live action movie.
Oh shit!
And they have casted their lead voice.
Okay.
Frosty will be CGI, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But they've casted their lead voice for Frosty the Snowman.
Okay.
And I want you to ask me, Marcus, who is it?
Who'd they get?
Jason Momoa will be lending his voice for Frosty.
Okay.
The Snowman.
Okay. Now pitching for the Minnesota Twins, Doug Wagner. What the fuck? We didn't want that at all.
Once again,
essentially the same thing.
In another episode of Hollywood, we didn't ask for this shit. Jason Momoa will be playing Frosty the fucking Snowman. So here's what it said. The Frosty Snowman movie will be produced by John Berg and Greg Silverman. Berg, who was just mentioned in the previous post as being an enabler, but he said he's not an enabler, but an enabler can never say when an enabler is enabling.
We've covered that. We know.
Great. Okay. Along with Jeff Johns, Berg and Silverman were senior execs at Warner Brothers and helped launch the Aquaman franchise with Momoa. Sure. Okay. And David Birnbaum, who previously worked with Berg on Elf, is writing the script for the movie. The film will be live action title with a CGI lead character along with possible others. From his role as a fearsome count in a land of ice and fire to the oceanic success we all had with Aquaman, it felt only right to realize Jason this time out of snow, Berg said. The team behind the film is quickly playing up Momoa's real life character as a family man. We know Jason's is a true human being filled with love, compassion, and deep connection to Ohana, all of which is the living spirit of Xmas and Frosty, Silverman said.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the most insane thing that I've ever heard.
Does Frosty the Snowman now come with the tattoos?
Does he long hair? Does he have like the big, the man doesn't have legs. He's literally just 3 round snowballs. So I would love to see how they do a snowman do the haka because the motherfucker doesn't have any legs.
And a carrot for a nose and button goals.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. All right. I mean, again, I think the we didn't ask for this is the best synopsis of this possible because this is not something I needed or wanted.
Episode 3000 of Hollywood, we didn't ask for this shit.
No shit. All right. Well, we'll see how it goes, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I mean, I imagine probably in August we'll get a trailer for that, to be honest with you.
Isn't this basically Moana?
I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it too. It's like reverse.
Is it racist for me to say? I don't want to sound like.
I don't think it's racist. I think it's reverse Moana.
It's just in the snow
right. Instead of on an island.
Yeah. Great.
So instead of The Rock, it's Jason Momoa, and instead of an island, it's probably what?
Snow.
Upstate New York. Like I don't know.
All right, let's move on. Because obviously we didn't ask for this shit, so I'm not gonna piece this shit together. Okay, why the fuck this is happening? But I hope it's good.
I mean, I do too. I like Jason Momoa.
I do. So
he's silly enough, I think, to commit hardcore to it. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna have fun being a CG character. So we'll have fun watching it.
Absolutely.
So. Cool. Kind of with that same animation, guys, is my next piece of news. So Spider-Verse 2, producer Christopher Miller was talking about the sequel and that it's going to be more focused on Miles Morales and that they're very excited about it. Fans were thrilled in June. They announced that they were coming back, but Miller's comments kind of teased what they've been working on and some of the new art techniques that they've been using. And so Miller hopped on Twitter to discuss some of these techniques, and he said that going into the Spider-Verse 2, these techniques are, quote, already blowing me away, and that they will make the first movie look quaint. Yeah, so here's the exact quote. The development of the new groundbreaking art techniques being done for the next Spider-Verse movie are already blowing me away. It's going to make the first movie look quaint. I'm genuinely very, very excited because this is really cool. I thought the animation with the first one was super, super on point.
That shit was nuts.
It was well done. It was well produced. So if there's new shit that they plan on doing and plan on rolling out, I am super, super jacked to see what it's going to be. For sure. It makes me even more excited to explore Sony's theme of Spider movies that they're doing, because remember, over the course of the next couple of years, it's Morbius, it's Venom 2, it's this one. So I'm just really excited to see what they do with it and to see what route they go with it, and getting all of those same people we got before, the Miles Morales storyline and others, plus new visuals. I'm already sold. So we'll see.
I never knew what to expect with the first one, so I was thoroughly impressed with the first. And it took me a while to actually watch it. I watched it once it was on Netflix, but
that's when I watched it.
Yeah, because I never went. There was something that happened that we never got the chance to actually go to the movie theater to see it.
Yeah,
but I ended up watching at home and was like, man, this would have been dope to feel this experience in a movie theater.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, it would have been really, really cool to see in the theater.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So keeping going, Disney Plus announced today that it will join Comic-Con at Home, hosted by San Diego Comic-Con, with virtual panels for 3 of its upcoming original titles. As part of the entirely virtual festival, Disney Plus will feature the animated movie Phineas and Ferb, the movie Candace Against the Universe, the anthology docuseries Marvel 616, and the service's first scripted series from National Geographic, The Right Stuff. Comic-Con at Home will be held on the same dates as the previously canceled Comic-Con, July 22nd through the 26th, 2020, and online attendees are encouraged to use the official hashtag Comic-Con at Home to be included in the virtual activity. So here's a little blurb from all the stuff. Blast off with Disney's The Right Stuff. From Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way and Warner Horizon scripted television, The Right Stuff is the first scripted Disney Plus original series from National Geographic. The series takes a clear-eyed look at the early days of the U.S. space program. The series follows 7 of the military's best pilots as they become astronauts of the newly founded NASA at the height of the Cold War. Disney Plus, Phineas and Ferb, y'all know what Phineas and Ferb is. It's Candace Against the Universe, and A Look Inside Marvel 616 explores how Marvel's rich legacy of stories, characters, and creators exist within the world outside your window. Each documentary, helmed by a unique filmmaker, explores the intersections of storytelling, pop culture, and fandom within the Marvel Universe. Join directors Gillian Jacobs, Paul Scheer, and executive producer Sarah Amos and Joseph Sturman as they discuss the making of the Disney Plus original anthology series with moderator Angelique Roche.
Super excited. On board for that.
I said all that to say, lock in.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that The Right Stuff documentary, like that kind of real look at it. Yeah. The Right Stuff is actually an allusion to a movie that came out in the 70s. That was that, and a pretty famous movie too.
Really?
Yeah, so The Right Stuff is that sort of that allusion to that movie, and it dives into that same topic, and it follows around the first, space exploration type stuff, and it was definitely Cold War. And I want to say it's Clint Eastwood, but I don't actually have it off the top of my head. So, but a cool movie and kind of a cool throwback to it. So, good. I'm genuinely curious about what this Comic-Con at Home looks like and where things go with it. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that could come out of that. Super excited. That'll be interesting.
Sounds good.
My next piece of news for everybody is kind of a little bit different, but also kind of in theme with what we've been talking about. So Seth Rogen announced this week that he is going to be producing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles computer animation or animated movie that will release. Hold on a minute. Let me look that up for you when that's coming, because it's definitely the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to make sure I get it right.
It's nuts.
Because the last time that we saw anything animated, and the reason why it's so insane is that the last time we saw something animated from Mr. Rogen is we saw it was Sausage Party, and I just don't fucking know why. Look, if I work for the people who own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, great, you know what would be really great for us to come back with and look at? I'd really like to redo it because Michael Bay's was not great.
Yes.
I would really like to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring in, who can we think of? Seth Rogen. What's his last movie? Well, in 2016 was Sausage Party. They're like, great, that's the tone we're going for a kids movie.
And here's the thing. Before you do that, somebody has to watch Sausage Party.
Yes.
To approve, to be like, hey, I see the vision that you're going for. And when I was watching Sausage Party, I damn near threw up in my fucking mouth.
I watched that with my in-laws, and we were scarred forever.
That movie, it was a funny movie. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Good movie for what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Just, I don't even know how to process it. It does its job of giving human features to food and things like that. So
to the extreme.
To the worst.
The extreme.
So I'm telling you now, if this movie is about some turtles fucking, I'm not having it.
Right. I'm not here for that in any way, shape, or form. No. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I appreciate his take on it. And, I mean, if he takes the same tone and it's got a more humorous vibe to it, I'm here for it. But, I don't know. I'm a little reticent to take my kids to see the Seth Rogen version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And obviously, look, we get it. These are jokes, okay? We're not expecting Seth Rogen to take Ninja Turtles and put them to an orgy. But it is an interesting pick, to say the least. It.
Right.
I wouldn't put it past him making 2 versions and maybe the private version.
He's gonna he'll smoke a blunt and make the turtles do it in a private one that he saves for his house, and then it'll be the one that reaches theaters. Like that's the way it's gonna work.
Because it's in a mix up, then it's a whole thing. Whatever.
Could you imagine if they screwed the reels up and they got one of each, and halfway through there's just this movie takes a right turn. Mom, Dad, I really like that, but Why did Shredder do that to
Why
Leonardo?
why was he upside down like that? And why did that stick go there? Oh, Jesus.
I've never seen rats put there before.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
shout out to Seth Rogen for,
All right.
stepping outside of the box and his normal. Last thing I watched from him was Green Hornet.
Really? That's a long time. You must not have seen anything from him in a while.
Well, no, what was the one after that? It was the one about the end of the world.
Oh, This Is the End.
Was he in This Is the End?
Yes.
No, he wasn't. Was he?
He was.
He was in This Is the End.
Because
This Is the End was the last thing.
It was a fight between Jay Baruchel, him, and shit, the guy from Spider-Man 3.
Jesus. Toby?
Not Toby. The other one.
Oh, fuck.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Welcome to the guessing game of films in black and white. We should start doing Name That Actor because we can't fucking do that at all.
Now, all I can think about is Harry Osborn, the guy who cut his fucking arm off in 300,065 days in the cliff.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So my next piece of news: Beavis and Butthead are returning to television. Comedy Central and original series creator Mike Judge will team up and relaunch the franchise with 2 new seasons and new spinoffs and specials.
Okay.
Judge will write, produce, and voice the show, which will have the duo entering, quote, a whole new Gen Z world that the network says are relatable to fans of the original show and those who never got a chance to experience it. There's no word when the series will debut on the network, but they couldn't be more thrilled. So here's the quote. We are thrilled to be working with Mike Judge and the great team at 3 Arts again as we double down on adult animation at Comedy Central, said Chris McCarthy, who oversees Viacom CBS Entertainment and Youth Group as president. Beavis and Butthead were the defining voice of a generation, and we can't wait to watch as they navigate the treacherous waters of a world light years from their own. And here's the quote the Judge said. It seemed they asked him why. Okay,
I have that same question.
Well, Judge has an answer for you.
Okay, great.
It seemed like the time was right to get stupid again.
There's not enough of that going around?
No, but okay. I see the point. You kind of want to get it. You kind of want to pick fun at. There's a lot of things in the world that are just like, I feel like I'm living in a goddamn extended SNL special that I wish would hurry the fuck up. Like, where roll the credits, play the jazz music, and let me say my thank yous and get the fuck out of 2020.
Yeah, that would be really great. And unfortunately, we're only halfway there.
My gosh. Roll the goddamn credits.
Yep. Cue the man with the saxophone. I'm ready to be done with this shit. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I never really was super into Beavis and Butthead when I was younger, but I mean, I also
didn't like King of the Hill either.
There were pieces of King of the Hill that I liked. There are certain episodes that I remember watching that I thought were really funny, but I never was like I never got super deep into it. So, I mean, kudos to him. That's fine. We'll see how it plays out. Who knows? Maybe it'll be something that, being in a Gen Z world, I can relate to a little bit more. I was never like a heavy metal MTV guy either when I was in the 90s when it was really big. So, I mean, it just wasn't something I cared about. So maybe it'll be a little bit different. Cool. Next piece of news I have, it actually kind of covers King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh, shit.
So super exciting. It's set for a March 2020 release. But as they are looking at the details are sort of coming out about what this all looks like. There are a few new monsters that are going to be appearing in this. And actually the main subject of this particular movie isn't going to just be Godzilla being worried about King Kong. There's going to be some other more bigger monsters and bigger threats. So I think what this might tell us is that King Kong versus Godzilla might be more of a team-up movie, maybe, as opposed to a one versus the other. Yeah. Okay. The other two, one of them I cannot pronounce for the life of me. The other one I cannot preside. But the one that I think is particularly cool is Mechagodzilla is supposed to be one of the other one of the big monsters in the movie. So I'm actually genuinely kind of curious that maybe Mechagodzilla is going to be a response from
the government to Godzilla. Yeah.
Yep. And Kong is going to be maybe someone maybe Godzilla grabs him to try and like team up and fight it. So, but super cool. I'm genuinely excited about it. I love using these old like Japanese like technologies and these things that were from the 70s and kind of giving them a fresh twist. They're super cool and really, really fun because they're two big monster movies. Like they're big, like classic monster movies of things destroying everything. Because when we got Rampage with The Rock, there was just something that it was like, it felt like off-brand. To use a quote from last week's episode, it was the Lieutenant Hank of monster movies. Like, I just wasn't super interested in it. So I'm super excited to kind of get back to the originals and kind of see what they can do with it. So
I've enjoyed all the Godzilla so far. A lot that may be an unpopular opinion, but I've enjoyed King of Monsters. I've liked them. I take them for what they are. Like I'm not going into it expecting this big thing. I've enjoyed all of them. I thought they were done well. The graphics look good. So I'm excited to see where this movie goes. I hope that the focus is more on the monster aspect and doesn't lean too much on the human things that are happening down below. I hope that the human things that are happening down below feeds into the bigger monster thing, because obviously these monsters can't talk, so you have to have some dialogue with the humans, and you got to lead the plot points, right? But I just hope that it's not overwhelmed or overtaken too much, and that that they can keep and give us this experience that we've been looking for.
Yeah, completely agree.
So I have two more pieces of news. So, and of course, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't bring up Batman. So here you go.
That's accurate.
The Batman. Here's some news that came out all over the place this week with news about Batman. Okay,
for sure.
So you have two cons coming up. You have Comic-Con, well, three. You have Comic-Con, DC Fandom, which is technically another con in like a Justice fandom, right?
Yep.
So we heard about Michael Keaton being re-signed to come back on as a distinguished mentor type Nick Fury role for Batman.
For sure.
And it said that he'll have a bat suit, and a whole lot of things have been coming out about that, but they were just waiting to finalize some paperwork, right? So they were saying that earlier this week and last week, it was a backup plan. WB decided to replace Ben Affleck with Keaton in the DCEU, but if talks with the Batman 89 star fail, they have a backup plan, and it didn't include Affleck, and included Christian Bale instead stepping into the role. So that's what was said. So it was also said, the rumors had it that they would have Batman's dad in it, but they're saying now there is no Thomas Wayne. According to Hollywood Reporter, there's no Thomas Wayne Batman in Flashpoint, and he was never a part of this whole experience.
Interesting.
It keeps getting okay. So then they say it's going to be a time jump. Apparently, the Flashpoint movie will ignore Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, so we're going to see Michael Keaton's Batman 30 years after the events of Batman Returns.
Okay,
which I'm not upset with. I'm not mad at
not at all. Not mad about it.
You want to keep a timeline. You want to keep a certain vibe of a Batman. Okay, cool. I got that. Then news broke on maybe Tuesday. Rumors. Ben Affleck has signed a new contract and is coming back as Batman. The official announcement will be either at JusticeCon or DC Fandom.
Okay.
So they're saying that we'll have a Batman. We'll have Keaton. And we'll have Pattinson. Pattinson's Batman will be like the Joker movie. It'll just be a standalone in its own universe.
Interesting.
That's fine.
Okay.
Then they're saying that Ben Affleck's Batman will be on HBO, delivering some more content.
Sure.
And we'll have Michael Keaton in this Flashpoint movie Batman that may connect to this other Justice League, where you may have a Kingdom Come type of timeline or Crisis on Infinite Earths type of time. So,
I mean, I'm here for it.
For the week. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I mean, what's really cool is that we've done this, and we even did it last week. We've done the comparison of like who's the better Batman, and now we actually get to do it instead of trying to remember back to Michael Keaton. We get to remember it and look at it in real current time, which is kind of cool. So on board, absolutely here for that.
I'm excited for all of it. Do whatever the fuck you want, DC. The thing about DC Comics is they've always had this range. They've always had this multiverse theory, right? Yeah. Marvel, I don't think dabbles in it too much. They of course they have it because it's comic books, right? But DC has always had this idea of having multiple universes, and they tapped into it various times. Even on the DC show, The Flash, when they had their Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline, they mentioned They mentioned the '89 universe Batman. They mentioned the Titan series. They mentioned they recognize DC recognizes on all their different platforms. Although Titans may be on the DC Universe app, it's still a part of this grander scheme where you have Ezra Miller show up in the Flash TV show. That was a very cool moment. So I'm excited to see what they do. Bring Ben Affleck back. Let him get a second chance to redeem himself. Give me some good content.
Again, after all that,
I'll watch
Josh
every
Whedon
single
bullshit,
fucking Batman.
I'd love to see him do it
Josh
again.
Whedon. Fuck Josh Whedon.
Yep, on board.
All right.
So I have here's my last piece of news, and it's actually Jurassic Park oriented, which is really cool.
No. Oh yeah.
New details are kind of getting so Sam Neill was interviewed to talk about Jurassic World Dominion because there's been some speculation about his role, whether it'll actually be like a full-fledged role or whether it'll just be a cameo. And so the sixth film in the franchise is starting to get shooting again after Corona being shut down for the Rona. And it's called Jurassic Park Dominion. In an interview, speaking to Yahoo Movies, Sam Neill kind of really wanted to put rumors to bed as far as what his role was going to be. And he says that all three of the actors from the original movie, Dr. Alan Grant, so Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, will appear in the movie and all the way through the movie from start to finish.
What?
And so that basically in order to drive down the likelihood that they get the Rona, they're going to all be living in the same joint for 3 or 4 months. So you're going to get Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, like they're all going to appear next to one another. So it makes me very, very excited for what this particular movie is going to be about. Yeah. One, love Jurassic Park. Probably, Absolutely. If I made a list of my top 10 favorite movies of all time, that is definitely in that list.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about it. Also, it makes me really wonder what the plot's going to be. Because to bring back those three means that shit's getting real with dinosaurs, and it's going to be beyond just the island. Like, I mean, there's no reason that they would ever go back to those islands again. So what happened? So very excited to see what happens on that route. And definitely some exciting news for that. But that wraps me up Pretty for cool. news for the week. So
yeah, that's cool because I think the last thing we saw were the dinosaurs getting released into the world, right? So I think shit, give it to me, take my money. I'm ready to see it. It's a good wrap up. I mean, it's the third Jurassic Park movie series. Obviously, this would be a great wrap up to that.
Oh yeah,
for you to do something, pass the torch or whatever it is that you want to do. Chris Pratt has carried that role well, and so has Bryce Dallas Howard as well.
Right. I mean, what else would you want them to do? I mean, bringing back those original three, I mean, that checks everybody off the list. I mean, because even with Jurassic Park, Lost World, and then Jurassic Park 3, the question was always, like, who are you going to see and when and what that stuff. And then when Jurassic World came out, it's like, okay, who's going to be what, when, and how. You're done. Like, you've crossed all three of the most popular actors from those 6 movies. You've crossed them off. So just do it. So...
All right. Well, to wrap it up, my last little bit of news was something that happened earlier this week, but me and Doug were excited about. Margot Robbie has been cast as the new lead character in the next Pirates of the Caribbean film. The film will be written by Birds of Prey screenwriter Christina Hodson. So what's cool about this is Pirates of the Caribbean is going to be rebooted. It is said that her new role is a spinoff. So it's a separate movie.
On board.
And so it'll be its own thing. The reboot will be its own thing.
For sure.
They'll obviously probably cross at some point if it's successful. So shout out to Margot Robbie. I like her a lot. You know, she does well when she does Harley Quinn. I think Harley Quinn, she can step into these roles fairly well and become these characters. So shout out to that.
Yep. Here for it. On board. I thought the first Pirates of the Caribbean was good. The next two I wasn't really necessarily super jacked about, but I'm excited to see her. I love all the stuff she does. I mean, you and I reviewed Birds of Prey. Some people should go back and listen to that from 2-3 episodes ago. Go back and listen to that and give our take on that one because it was a good movie, definitely worth watching. And you know, the writing was solid. I mean, there was never a moment like plot or dialogue where I was like, "This is stupid." So yeah, super here for it. I think that's awesome. So
absolutely
cool. Well, that was a great news episode. A lot happened this past week.
A
lot happened. So, yeah, definitely some fun stuff to talk about. You and I have our own sort of fun news as well that's films in black and white related. So, yeah. So Marcus and I have been thinking about kind of the times that we live in and things that we want to do. And so we're actually going to do a film series here. So over the course of the next 4 weeks, we're going to take a brief hiatus in our news reporting. We'll still give you a little bit of news at the start of every episode, but we really want to try and cover and talk about, you know, just things that have been happening around the world, things that have been happening in our country, and just kind of really talk about where society is and maybe even take a look back on where society has been. And so we're going to be reviewing 4 movies over the course of the next week that deal specifically with issues related to race, identity, culture, the experience of African Americans in the United States, just over the course of the next 4 weeks. So it'll be 4 movie reviews over the course of the next few weeks. So we're really super excited about that and to bring that to you. And in that same vein, Marcus is going to drop our movie of what we're going to watch next week. And I am very excited because he gave me like 3 or 4 that he was trying to pick from, but I'm very excited to see where he goes with it.
Yeah. So
all right.
For the first in our movie series,
okay,
Doug and I will be watching a classic movie titled
oh shit,
I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Okay. All right. There it is.
It's going to be a fun ride. There's a purpose to everything that we're doing. There was a great conversation that happened today that kind of pointed and fueled us and refueled us in a way to kind of, before this thing takes off, we want to make sure that we're really using our platform in a proper way and using our platform to start and spark conversations. Obviously, this is from our perspectives, but we open the door to genuine, impactful conversations that can, change the way that we view things moving forward, not just for us, but for each and every listener as well. An easy way to have easier conversations. To have those harder conversations in an easier space. You know what I'm saying? Because movies more than just entertain people. They deliver so many messages and they impact so many lives and hearts and nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to kick it off with I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
On board.
Where'd you say you found it at, Doug?
I think it's on Vudu for like $3.99. It's on Prime Video for I think $3. So
just go find it. It might be on YouTube
either.
No, it might be on YouTube. Go ahead, rent it out. Watch it again, just because we want you to be involved in these conversations. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward, we're going to continue to grow, and we hope that you continue to grow with us.
For sure. Yeah, couldn't agree more. We're excited to do it. We're excited to see where this goes. I think this is a great entry point because it's a comedy, and it's one of the staples in comedy too. The Wayans brothers being responsible for directing, writing, etc. So super excited because they paved the way there. So it'll be kind of cool to break all that down. Go out and see it, and we'll kind of go from there. But cool. Look for that this week. We'll review that next week. Marcus, any final thoughts before we sign off for today?
Motherfuck Josh Whedon. Hold your friends accountable. Listen, now more than ever, it's time to hold our people accountable. You know what I'm saying? Don't cancel people completely. Give them a chance to grow and forgive them and an opportunity to learn. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay to hold them accountable and hold their feet to the fire when they start fucking shit up. Okay? Because you are a reflection of your friends. And in that same vein,
people you spend the most time with.
Exactly. So what if 2 or 3 of your people in your friend group are saying some wild ass shit? Guess what I'm gonna think about you? Oh, birds of a feather flock together. So fuck you too. Okay. Now, in that same breath, if 2 or 3 of your friends stink, I'm gonna think that you ain't washing your ass.
That's a very good point. That stench travels.
It stench flows together. Okay.
And it doesn't come out.
If you don't smell it, and you hanging with people that are just kicking it with you and they laughing and kikiing and ha-haing all the time, then they don't smell it. So all y'all shitty booty.
Right.
You know the best way to clear up mud butt?
Soap.
Washing your ass.
Hot water. That's it.
Wash your ass.
Please. Just get in there. Spend an extra minute. It's going to be worth it. It'll be worth the extra minute. And I completely agree with you. I mean, even on the other stuff of holding your friends accountable, growth is a process, not a destination.
Yes.
And so you need to always be improving and looking at ways in which you can get better. But Jesus Christ, just wash your ass.
Just wash.
Just do what you gotta do.
Just bend over. Listen, bend over.
Right.
We're gonna keep it honest with you because this is a family thing, right?
That's how we do it.
Bend over, touch your toes.
That's it.
Okay. While you bend over, touch your toes with one hand, take the other one, put the towel in there.
Get up in there. Yep. That's it.
Get in there. Don't scrub too hard. Don't scrub till you bleed. But just scrub it enough so you feel fresh.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, at the bare minimum, hot water. The bare minimum.
Barest
of minimums. So, cool. That's all we got for you this week. Like, subscribe, leave us a review, and stick with us as we continue on this journey. We're very excited for it, but we hope you'll continue with us. So until then, take care of each other, wash your ass, and we will see you all next week.
See y'all.
Wow.